I'm here at Adventures Archery in Lakeland with Jarrod, my cameraman today, and taking a little break from bow teching to film for me. And we are building my arrows for Total Archery Challenge. And I'm going to go over kind of all the details of the build of this arrow, because between it and Jarrod's magic, it really is, I think, the reason why we're getting clearance out as far as we are. And I'll tell you how much here when we're done building the arrows. But so I'm shooting the Victory 3D HV Sport arrow. It's an 800 spine. They weigh 5.1 grains per inch. We have cut my arrows down, and by we I mean Jarrod has cut my arrows down to, I'm a 24-inch draw length, and we cut them down carbon to carbon to 23. Then the nocks, X-nocks, Easton X-nocks weigh like 9 grains, 80 grain tip on the end, and so we have total bear shaft with a point and a knock. We have 203. I'm also shooting the whitewater archery wraps. I have a discount code for that. I'll put it in the description. So we are 4-fletching my arrows this year. We're using the AAE 2.0s.
Hybrid 2.0s.
Yep, in green and orange. We're gonna 4-fletch this year for one big reason. So I get more arrow clearance under my sight. So I'll show you probably in a separate video about how far I can shoot with my sight tape with clearance still, but without having to, these are just a low profile, so without having to flip my arrow over, which is what I was having to do last year to shoot past 90, shoot around 90, 95 yards. I had to flip my arrow over with the 3-fletch. With the 4-fletch, I don't have to flip my arrow over. I get better clearance underneath my sight. I can shoot a little bit farther. So with these 4-fletch, it should be about 15 grains, 15.7. I think on AAE's website it says per vein they're supposed to be like 3.9 grains, which means in total should be like 15.6. So they were really spot on AAE's website as far as how much these little veins weigh. Setting here, I've got an arrow that's finished. In total, I'm getting 231. You should be shooting at least 5 grains per pound of draw weight out of your bow. So with that, my calculation is I should be able to shoot at max about 45 pounds. And I think right now I'm pulling 43 pounds. But that's the fastest bow I've ever shot. It's also gotten me my longest sight tape I've ever shot with. So Jarrod has to shoot it through the chrono because I'm not tall enough. I would shoot the chrono. So Jarrod's gonna shoot it through the chrono so we see what we get.
And my battery's getting low on my chrono.
All right, Jarrod. 273.
Let's do it one more time. I like to check it more than once. And then there's differences in everyone's chrono. You know, a foot or 2 per second or more. It's depending on the last time the chrono was calibrated, what type of lighting you're in.
$272. So
fast.
Still a foot or 2 faster per second than we even guesstimated with all the calculations. So, and way faster than anything I've ever shot. Okay, so I've done about half my arrows. This is a bear shaft. I was just going to show you. This is not a how to build an arrow video, but this is just how we built my arrows. One, just make sure that you clean your arrows. This is after I cleaned the bear shafts. So you can clean your arrows just with nail polish remover. And then I'm gonna wrap the arrow. So I'm using, I think this one is supposed to be pink, the whitewater wraps. Like I said, these are the whitewater fluorescent topo maps wraps. And what I really liked about whitewater, they have a really good page for a diagram on how to choose the size width of wrap for the diameter of your arrow. But they also have that information right here on their wrap mat. So if you're not sure about what size wrap you need to order, Whitewater's got you covered. Then you're gonna glue. So we've figured out exactly how we want it set up. We've put a little line on the jig, and make sure that you have enough of the foot of the arrow, the base of the vein, the base of the vein outside of that clamp so that you can press down on it. And then I'm gluing a little bit different. A friend of ours, Maurice, just showed me a trick that he learned from a Dan McCarthy video. And basically you're gonna glue exactly the same way as you would, just putting some dots down the vein of the arrow and then run that glue all the way down. I like to put a little extra at both ends. But the problem with 4 fletches, once you start getting more fletchings on, it's hard to get in between those fletchings. So I'm gonna show you that trick. Put your glue on exactly the same way that you would. And then you're going to, one time, just roll it on a paper towel. Put your arrow on.
No glue.
No extra glue. Okay, so my arrows are done. You can see here, I ran out of the all orange, so we've got one oddball here, but my arrows are done and ready for tack. You can see I'll show you my sight tape. My tape goes out to 100 yards. If I roll it to about the white mark in the Excel logo, that's my 105. So, and that's as much as I've got for clearance, but 105 is still pretty dang good for clearance, for not pulling crazy weight, 43 pounds. That's it. All right, it is the next day. I'm back up at Adventures, just checking all of these arrows I made last night, make sure there's no wonky ones. And I noticed that my 20 seemed to be a little high last night, and checked again today. They still seem a little bit high, so made an adjustment of that. Sometimes new arrows are like that, even though the weight was pretty close. It is a 4 fletch. So I'm gonna go ahead and recheck the 20 after the adjustment, just see what that looks like, and make sure we're all good. I probably shot 40, 50 arrows already today, so I'm a little shaky, but this group's not bad. The height's definitely better. Let's see. Oh. You can see before I was high, and I had a couple like on the top of the line still, but now the height is a little bit better. Not exactly where I'd want it left and right, but getting there. All right, so that's it. I've got to go to work. I work tonight, and that height is much better. I shot like one more round, but I'm kind of out of time. So that's the build. Again, like I said, that arrow build, these arrows at 230 grains a piece, and with setting that bow up at where it maxes out at 45, so I'm pulling at almost the top efficiency. We're getting 272 feet per second, which is really pretty fast for 43 pounds and a 24-inch draw length. So it's looking pretty good for tack. I've got a 100-yard sight tape. I found a 105-yard mark. Next thing is just some practice. So you'll see some videos of that soon, but thanks for watching, and check out that arrow build.